Die Nachrichtenagentur Reuters berichtet heute von einem
Police!
auf einen britischen Truppen- und Munition...
Put that away. What if they find us? Get rid of those papers. Burn them.
Bei dem Überfall der sich im Orange...
Read up. Pistol. Help me.
Police, I have a warrant to search these premises.
Making a lot of noise. I suppose you have an explanation for this invasion?
You'll soon find out, sir. Hold it. Ask the Chief Inspector to come here.
I'm here, Brad. Anyone hurt?
No. But look at this.
Sir Derek O'Callaghan.
Ah, Sir Derek.
My apologies, Prime Minister. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Hello, William. Hello.
Nice to see you back.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, we can begin. My secretary telephoned, I believe, with the news.
We've been discussing it. Scandalous. Things can't be allowed to go on like this. It has been suggested that more troops be sent in. You agree?
Well, with respect, Prime...
Mr. Derek, Home Secretary, some brandy.
No, please, no brandy. It's water. Some water. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about this.
My dear fellow, what on earth was it?
I keep meaning to see my doctor, but, well, this Palestine business is so pressing.
But you mustn't ruin your health over it. Gentlemen, I think it best if we adjourn for the moment.
No, there really is no need, Prime Minister. The pain comes and goes quite quickly. I'm quite recovered now.
I wanted a private word with you anyway. Gentlemen.
This really is quite unnecessary, Prime Minister. Your time is valuable.
I've asked Chief Inspector Alleyn of Scotland Yard to arrange things. Discreetly, of course. It has to be, Derek. You may not take these threats to your life seriously, but I have to. Walter, PPK 9mm, officer issue. There's a lot that came back as souvenirs.
Yes.
Well, he was carrying it and it was loaded.
Yes, I know, Brer. We didn't set up that raid to find one measly little gun, did we?
Well, it could tie up. Isn't Sir Derek responsible for Palestine?
Well, he's tried to deal with the situation, but responsible, I think that rather begs the question. I tell you what, get Bailey to check all the prints he's taken from the house against the prints of our 3 prisoners. That should at least tell us if we've missed anybody.
Right.
I'd better have a word with this fellow Bloutfit, shouldn't I? I tell you what, Brer. See if you can get an opinion from the handwriting people about that stuff you saved from the fire.
this is the land of the free.
Freedom does not mean liberty to break the law, Mr. Blackford. You know that as well as I do.
And what crime have I committed? You invade my house, why?
A gun was found on your premises.
A gun. A little gun. The world is full of guns, Chief Inspector. The detritus of war. Was it necessary for half the police in London to strip my house from top to bottom to find one little gun? Oh.
Where did you get it? How did it come to be in your possession?
That is a long story, Chief Inspector.
I'm in no hurry.
The gun belonged to SS Colonel Halberschmidt, in charge of Oven BZ 79. At Auschwitz. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you why I was there. While we were being liberated, I managed to get hold of it. And I shot him. Am I going to be charged with murder?
Your actions elsewhere do not concern me. Here they do. The gun was loaded. Why?
I have enemies.
Personal enemies?
I'm a Jew, Chief Inspector.
Do you consider Sir Derek O'Callaghan to be an enemy?
I am not aware of the gentleman.
Oh, come now, I find that hard to believe. He's deeply concerned with events in Palestine. Sir Derek O'Callaghan is receiving threats to his life. His name is found on paper in your house, and you were found in possession of a loaded gun. Now, what do you say to that, Mr. Bladridge?
I think in the land of the free, I am entitled to see a solicitor.
It's not the end of the world. You're young, you're pretty, you'll find somebody else.
That's what you'll do. Find somebody else. You've no feeling.
Now, come on. You're not a child. Let's be adult over this. We've had good times together.
They aren't good times when you remember them and know you were just a man's good time. I loved you. How can you treat me like this? What am I to do? I love you. But if I could kill you...
I'm not staying to listen to this stupid talk.
Oh, that's right. Run away. Hate you.
Nash,
Yes, my lady.
has Sir Derek come back?
Yes, my lady. He's in the study.
Thank you, Nash.
Shall I serve dinner, my lady?
How was Sir Derek?
Not much more as usual self, I'm happy to say, my lady.
Then we may as well eat as usual, Nash.
Very good, my lady.
Cecily. Damn pain again.
You can't keep putting off seeing a doctor.
Have you spoken to John about it?
No, I haven't seen him for weeks. Why?
He rang my office this afternoon and asked if he could come round and see me here tonight. And I wondered. Oh, people talk, I suppose.
It's just as well you see him.
He's a surgeon, not a doctor.
You must speak with him. You can't go on like this.
After this Palestine business is over tomorrow, I can ease up a little, get proper advice, and a good rest. There. And that's my speech for the House tomorrow. Now, don't worry.
Have you had any more of those letters?
You mustn't worry about them. They...
Good evening, Miss Ruth. I'm afraid Sir Derek...
God, it's Ruth.
I don't know why you let her bother you so much.
She's my sister. I can hardly forbid her to visit, can I?
I'll get rid of her.
Sorry, Miss Ruth, they are not at home. But I assure you that they're...
Really, Cecily? Nash said you were out.
He meant not at home, Ruth.
Ah, Derek, dear.
I did my best, madam.
How are you?
Thank you, Nash.
Feeling better, I'm sure.
Yes, Ruth.
Oh, I knew you would be. And here are new supplies. Mr. Sage's remedies really are splendid, remarkable, and all from natural ingredients. Nothing chemical, nothing artificial, you know?
Yes. I do know, Ruth. You've told me several times.
There are some things, Cecily, which are worth repeating.
Not all natural substances are good for one.
An expert like Mr. Sage knows all the...
Dinner. Mafeking has been relieved.
There's a curious mark on this paper, Bray. You can just see the faint outline.
Bailey says there's one set of prints unaccounted for.
So, 3 in the cells, 4 sets of prints, 4 in the gang. We missed one.
We missed more than that, didn't we?
Yes. Bad luck on Sir Derek. Well, if we'd found the weapons, it would have given him a head start in the House tomorrow.
What's that?
Censure motion by the opposition on his handling of the situation in Palestine.
I'm too busy with crime to bother with politics.
Well, you'll jolly well have to bother with him in this case. Well, let's see. We've got the Stern gang. You've heard of them, I take it. Supposed to have a cache of arms at Blightfitch's house, ready for shipment to Palestine. And all we find is one little pistol and a piece of paper with Sir Derek's name on it. So, what's going on, Brown?
Well, it looks like the threats came from Blautwitz. Likelihood is he's stopped those.
Yes, but for how long? Blightfitch has already got his lawyer busy. What do you make of that?
Not a lot. A couple of snakes up a tree.
That's a caduceus,
Oh, yes. What's that?
the symbol of the medical profession.
Good evening, Sir John.
Is Sir Derek in?
I believe he's in the library, Sir John. Perhaps you care to wait in the study whilst I inform him of your arrival.
Very well.
May I take your coat and hat, Sir John?
Not now.
John.
Ah, Cecily. Hello.
I'm so glad you've come. That will be all. Thank you, Nash. You know Derek has been unwell. You must have heard.
Of course, yes, but...
He refuses to see a doctor until this wretched Palestine debate is over. What with that and the stress of threatening letters. You must know about those. Surely.
yes, but...
There you are, John. Sorry to have kept you.
Do have a word with him, John, please. I'll get Nash to send in some coffee.
We'll share something stronger, I think. Come inside, my dear fellow.
Your coat, John?
Doesn't matter, I shall not be here long.
I've been so busy lately, and politics are a damn curse. And as for this Palestine business, do sit down, dear fellow.
I've not come here to exchange pleasantries, O'Callaghan.
What?
You're an unfeeling, insensitive blackguard. Your conduct has been beneath contempt.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but
I'm talking about Jane Harben.
Oh. What's she to you?
Her happiness is more important to me than anything in the world, and you have ruined it.
Oh, come on, old boy. Good Lord. We had fun together for a few months, that's all. She enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. Women aren't ruined nowadays for enjoying a bit of what they fancy.
It was not fancy, as you call it, with Jane. She loved you. I cannot fathom why, but she did. And she believed that her love was returned. It was only because of this that she... You have ruined her life.
If she thought I loved her, I'm sorry. But as for ruining her, good God. She's not pregnant, is she?
Damn you, no.
Well, then what the hell does she want from me? Money, is that it?
You're a bastard, O'Callaghan. I love Jane. If you drive me too far...
Oh, don't be so damn melodramatic. I don't want the woman. If you do, take her.
I warn you. I know your ways. If you make the slightest move to hurt or take advantage of her again, I swear I will kill you.
Is that another of those letters?
No, it's nothing like that. What's the matter with Nash?
Nothing. I wanted to bring it to you myself. To wish you luck on your big day.
Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Perhaps we could have a weekend at the cottage. A change would do you... us good.
Yes, why not? I'll get myself a good going over and get rid of this, whatever the damn thing is.
I'm sure 2 aspirins would do you more good than those things of Ruth.
Oh, pleases her to think she's helping me, and herbs can't harm me, can they?
I can't understand why people won't trust nature. After all, nature made us, so nature must know best. It is rather obvious, don't you agree, Mr. Sage?
Alas, not everyone has your clarity of mind, Miss O'Callaghan. Now, remember, it's essential these are taken regularly until the treatment is complete.
Oh, yes. Yes, I've explained to Derek very clearly, and he's promised to take them.
Good.
Well, into battle.
I hope they're not too hard on you.
I can give them as good as I'm likely to get. Don't worry.
You will take care, won't you?
Look. Armed guard. Never lets me out of his sight. Damn nuisance, actually.
Chief Inspector, am I to be shot?
We hang people in this country, Mr. Blackford, but no, not today. Bail has been arranged. You're free to go.
So, British justice works after all.
With a good solicitor, it does.
You're a cynic, Chief Inspector. Will my gun be returned?
I advise you to keep clear of guns in future, Mr. Blackbridge.
Oh, I shall, Chief Inspector, I shall. I wouldn't want to lead you to another mistake.
One moment, sir.
Well, I might be arrested again.
My paper, sir.
Oh. Your pardon, officer.
Slippery customer, sir.
I think he plays a fairly straight bat. Could I see your paper? Did you tear this out?
No, sir. He must have.
I wholeheartedly support the decision of this government to develop the atom bomb. No, I will not give way. The defense of this country and the safety of our troops in Palestine is my prime concern. We hold that country not for any gain, but under mandate from the United Nations to seek a peaceful solution to the conflict there. It is a burden we reluctantly assume.
Why don't we get out there?
It may be in the nature of the honourable member and his party to run away from responsibility, but on this side of the House we have some sense of honour.
Order!
So, Derek?
To yield to terrorists, to succumb to force is not a characteristic of our island race.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this...
Sir Derek is my brother. I keep telling her.
It's all right, Nurse Banks, thank you. Sir John Phillips would like a word with you, Lady O'Callaghan. Oh. I don't think we should disturb him.
I don't think I'm likely to disturb my brother, Cecily.
He's hardly conscious. You will be staying, Nurse Banks? Oh, yes, my lady. Sir John told me not to leave him. Good.
Poor Derek. Is the pain very severe?
Oh, Ruth, it's dreadful.
You must take some of Mr. Sage's full Vitavolts. If you take one now, it will ease it immediately.
I'm sorry, madam, but you cannot give that to the patient.
Nonsense, it'll do him the world of good.
Nothing must be given to the patient without the doctor's permission.
Very well. That's the trouble. The medical profession is so prejudiced. They think the knife cures everything.
Cecily, it's probably peritonitis. An operation is really imperative. I think we should get Somerset Black to do it.
But, John, surely you'll do it.
Somerset is very capable. An excellent surgeon.
I have no doubt, but I have more confidence in you, John, than anyone, as I am sure Derek has.
You're quite sure you'd not prefer Somerset Black?
Absolutely. I mean him no disrespect, but I would be much happier if you would operate.
Very well. Get the theatre prepared, Mr. Toms. And the anaesthetic, Dr. Gray, I think.
He's in Birmingham, Sir John. Lister Conference.
Oh, well, I'll get Roberts. Will you take Lady O'Callaghan back to Sir Derek? I'll join you shortly.
Thank you, John. I know he could not be in safer hands.
Dr. Roberts? Oh, Sir John, yes.
I'm at St. Quentin's. Dr. Gray is unavailable.
Unavailable? Oh, yes, I see.
It's an emergency. Sir Derek O'Callaghan.
Sir Derek O'Callaghan?
Acute appendicitis. I must operate as soon as possible.
I shall be over at once.
Thank you, Roberts.
It was an honor to work with you, Sir John. Oh, I shall bring my own equipment as usual.
Of course. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have you heard the news?
Nope. Depressed me further.
Oh, you had to let Blautwitz go then?
Ex-concentration camp victim. One very small pistol. Good solicitor. What else?
Sir Derek O'Callaghan collapsed in the Commons. He was rushed to hospital.
Good Lord. Nothing suspicious.
No, natural causes. Appendix, I think.
We can hardly accuse Blautwitz of that, can we? No, we can't. I really think I should take more exercise. I'll walk to the corner.
The corner?
Yes, I have this sudden, overwhelming desire to buy a newspaper.
Sir John is going to operate immediately, Miss O'Callaghan. You must leave now.
It's wrong. The knife is wrong. Nature's way is best. You should let nature cure him, not the knife.
I can understand how you feel, Ruth.
On your head be it. On your head!
I'm sorry, John. Ruth.
Please, I understand. And I'll do all I can. Try not to worry.
No, not here. Don't let it. Not.
It's not. Pain sometimes makes patients delirious. It'll all be over soon.
Nurse Harben, you should know by now that Sir John uses his own hyoscine solution. Put that back in the store.
Sorry, sister.
Your tray is ready, Sir John.
Thank you, sister.
Dressings, nurse.
Not giving him two, are you? One tube was empty. Oh, Roberts has arrived. I'll get scrubbed up.
Nurse Banks, doctors are dressing.
Politics is an honourable profession.
Might be. Trouble is, the nuts who enter it. Power and the glory, that's what they're after. Egomaniacs, mostly.
You really think so?
Obvious. Always handing each other titles. Knighthoods, peerages, all that stuff, right, Nursey?
So you think Sir Derek O'Callaghan's an egomaniac, then?
Hardly got a humble opinion of himself, has he? And look at the mess he's been making in Palestine. No wonder there's Jews threatening to take pot shots at him.
Are there?
I've heard he gets threatening letters. Of course, could be some of your pals, eh, Nursey?
I have no pals among assassins. Though sometimes they can be right. If they'd managed it with Hitler, who'd have complained?
Well, of course he was mad.
You shouldn't be here, Jane.
Do you think I want to be? I have no choice. It's my job.
I'll speak to Sister Graham.
No,
I'm sure
no,
she'll...
you mustn't.
But surely
You mustn't speak to anyone. I want to be here.
I don't understand you, Jane.
I don't understand myself, so how can you?
All I want is to help you. I love you.
Oh, don't say that. Please.
But how can you have any feelings for him? He threw you aside.
What feelings I have, Don't ask me to talk about them. I'm afraid of them myself.
No more than I am of mine. I hate him for what he has done to you.
Is everything ready, Sir John?
I've given him 1/100th of hyacinth.
I'll have him ready in a moment. If you please, nurse.
Forceps, sister, forceps.
Mop. The pulse is weak, Sir John. I don't like his pulse. Camphor, 3 grains.
Quickly, nurse.
Inject it.
Serum, nurse.
Serum, Nurse Harben.
Serum.
Serum, Nurse Harben. Pay attention, nurse.
Sorry, sister.
How is it?
Not so good. I'll give him oxygen.
Nasty mess. Must have neglected it. No doubt. Better take him back.
Nurse Harben seemed a bit knocked here today, didn't she? Nurse Harben didn't seem with us.
I didn't notice.
Not her usual self at all. Must be love or something.
Doctor, it's Sir Derek.
He's gone.
I understand that the letters Sir Derek received were from political extremists opposed to his policy on Palestine. We feel that it's hardly likely that...
I heard all this from the Prime Minister, Chief Inspector. There is no point in your repeating it. He is not aware, as I am, that a woman with whom my husband had had an unhappy relationship and who was embittered by his rejection of her works as a nurse at Sir John's nursing home.
Forgive me, but are you sure of this?
Wives are not fools, Chief Inspector.
Was she present during the operation?
That I do not know. It is sufficient to know she was there.
I'm afraid that hardly constitutes grounds for a post-mortem. Well, particularly since the death certificate was signed by two surgeons, Sir John Phillips and Mr. Toms.
Cecily, you can't do it. I won't allow it. You can't. It's wicked. It's wrong. The body is a sacred vessel.
Ruth, I have a visitor. Chief Inspector Alleyn of Scotland Yard. My sister-in-law, Ruth O'Callaghan.
Surely it's... You're Sir George Allen's brother, aren't you? He's George Allen's brother, aren't you? We met at Stone Towers, the Bellamys.
That's right, we did.
You're a policeman. I remember.
Yes, I am.
Then you must stop her. There must be no post-mortem. It's ridiculous. Derek must not be cut up.
Ruth!
It's indecent. He must be left to sleep in peace.
You may tell the Prime Minister I appreciate his motives in sending you here, but I require to know the real cause of my husband's death. The doctors may be satisfied, but I am not.
Cecily, please, think of...
My mind is made up, Ruth. The Chief Inspector is leaving Nash.
Do you by any chance know the name of the young woman concerned?
Jane Harben. She's the daughter of neighbours of ours in Hampshire.
Thank you. You may be sure that the Prime Minister will be kept informed. She's a Ratisbon. They're a frosty lot, and they've a great deal of pull with the powers that be.
Got a bit yourself, haven't you?
I have friends, Brer. I don't have pull.
Oh.
I don't use them. Well, perhaps in the cause of justice.
Well, isn't that what Lady O'Callaghan thinks she's doing?
There's no point worrying about that until we get the results of the post-mortem.
If she gets one.
Rather a big if, I'm afraid. As I said, she's a Ratisbon. Their family motto, roughly translated, is we don't stop until we get what we want. Anyway, look, this is much more important. This might give us a lead on our fourth man.
Anarchism, the means and the end.
Your evening's entertainment, Brer.
Yes, I see your point. Unfortunately, Lady O'Callaghan is a Ratisbon. Family's very influential. Party needs their support in these difficult times.
I fail to see why my professional reputation should be sacrificed on the altar of political expediency.
Quite. Chief Inspector, perhaps you could, Quite.
Lady O'Callaghan is very determined. There's nothing we can do to stop her arranging a private post-mortem.
I have signed the death certificate. So has Mr. Toms. There is nothing unusual in the death.
Then you've nothing to fear.
The whole world of politics is nothing but the embodiment of arbitrary power. As anarchists, it is our duty to oppose corrupt and bureaucratized states of any political color. Our aim is justice. But justice is not the work of the law. Law is only a declaration of justice. controlled and administered by the arbitrary power of entrenched capitalism and privilege. Until they are uprooted and destroyed, there can be no true freedom. And let us not forget that these ends will be achieved by each and every one of us in our daily lives, particularly in our workplaces. And in this way, we will undermine the system that enslaves us and reform the world. I wonder a lot of you there, but I thought you were very attentive.
Good night.
I thought that question was very interesting.
Right.
Because I think we can actually, if we put a lot of them together.
All close enough now.
Oh, excuse me, miss.
Quite all right.
I beg pardon for disturbing you, my lady.
Never mind, Nash. What is it?
I scarcely know how to begin, my lady. I've served the family for many years and would not presume to interfere in matters of a personal
For
nature.
heaven's sake, Nash, get to the point. What is it?
I think you should see this, my lady.
Where did you find this?
In Sir Derrick's waste paper basket, my lady.
Morning, Perkins.
Morning, sir.
What load of misery have you brought to start the day?
It depends how you look at it, sir. Some bad news is good news.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, sir. Hip hip, as the man said, when his mother-in-law got the hoopers.
Morning. Morning, Brown. Remember your two snakes climbing up a tree? They're on free notepads given to doctors, hospitals, and chemists. That's an awful lot of people.
Rosy Lisa.
Thank you, Perkins.
Well, there was no luck with the writing either. Didn't match the hand of any of the three that we nabbed.
Well, I suppose that confirms something. That Blautwich has a comrade on the loose somewhere. Who did you put on his tail?
Robinson.
Oh, that's really going to frighten him. What happened to the anarchists? Any luck?
Oh, nothing happened and no luck. There was no one I'd ever seen or heard of.
What's Blautwich doing with anarchists anyway? A bit out of date, I'd have thought. Still, he must have torn that piece out of the newspaper for something. Let's have another look at it.
Perhaps he was playing us along, codding us.
Sage's Herbal Remedies. I think we should try some of those, don't you?
Out of sorts, are you?
The caduceus, Brad, the caduceus. On notepads given to doctors, hospitals, and chemists. That's the connection. Pill pushers, not bolshes.
Chief Inspector Alleyn's office. Yes? Oh, yes. Just a moment. It's Lady O'Callaghan. She wants to see you. Got important new evidence for you.
Here is the proof. Do not underestimate me, O'Callaghan. If you trouble Miss Harben again, I will surely kill you. Signed, John Phillips. My husband received that letter on the morning of his death, and he died at the hands of Phillips and that woman Harben. I do not wish to be disturbed, Nash.
I beg pardon, my lady. The Chief Inspector is wanted on the telephone. I took the liberty of putting it through to here, sir.
Alan? Yes? I see. Thank you. That was the result of the post-mortem, Lady O'Callaghan.
Well?
I'm afraid your husband was poisoned. by an overdose of hyacinth.
I knew it. I knew it. He killed my husband.
Looks like Blackwood's and the gun runners will have to take a back seat for a while.
One never knows, Brer. One never knows.
Do you think it's murder?
Sir Derek O'Callaghan dies of an overdose of hyacinth. It's the same drug administered by Sir John Phillips during the operation. Who signs the death certificate? Sir John Phillips. If it isn't murder, somebody's been awfully careless.
The devil? Just a tick, sir.
What was that all about?
She's an anarchist.
Well, she certainly got you stirred up.
She was at that meeting that I got covered. You know, the one with the advertisement that Blackwood's cut out of the newspaper. She could be number 4. The one that was missing from that raid on the house.
I'm afraid not. According to the handwriting experts, the name Sir Derek O'Callaghan was written in a man's hand.
Oh. Well, it's a link, though. I mean, he died here, and that nurse works for Sir John.
Well, there you are, then.
Thank you, miss. Would you like to take a little stroll with me?
Unless it can be established that Sir Derek somehow administered the drug himself, the situation is serious, Sir John. You do understand?
Of course. Will you smoke?
No, thank you. Do you always use hyacinth? Who prepares the injections?
I always do my own. These tablets, packed in tubes of 20, make only 1/5 of a grain in all. This is the tube I used. I've since used one more. That makes 18.
May I? May I hang on to these? Or there might have been some mistake in the manufacture. And the box. Was Nurse Harben present during the operation?
I won't have her name brought into this.
Did you write this letter to Sir Derek O'Callaghan because of his relations with Nurse Harben? You threatened to kill him. Do you deny writing this letter?
We do many things in a passion, in a temper, that we regret. I did not want to perform the operation. I asked Lady O'Callaghan to let me get Somerset Black to do it, but she insisted. Did she tell you that?
Did anyone hear you ask her?
Mr. Toms was present, I believe.
Nurse Harben has not turned up for work today, I understand. Do you know why?
No, I do not.
Do you know a man called Blackfitch?
No. Never heard the name.
So you do know Mr. Blackwood?
I didn't say I did. I said I wouldn't tell you whether or not I did until you told me why you wanted to know whether or not I did.
Now, a few days ago, you attended a meeting organised by an anarchist group.
Is that against the law, Inspector?
No, nurse. No, it isn't.
I've also been to Tory, Labour, Communist, Fascist and Social Realist meetings. Did you see me at those?
No.
I've told you all I know, Inspector.
But just a minute. I haven't finished yet.
Oh, there was a dirty glass in Sir Derek's bedroom.
Sweetie. Give my love to your mother, yes? Bye-bye.
Now, there were 3 syringes used. Hyoscine, which Sir Jojo used in there, the anaesthetic room. He thinks it's safer, if you know what I mean.
Wouldn't the anaesthetist normally do that?
Well, Roberts isn't happy with needles, so Sir John did it for him.
Why isn't Dr. Roberts happy with needles?
He's quirky. Takes all sorts in medicine, like politics. Now, this is camphor, used in the op, and this large one here, this is the anti-gas gangrene.
Was anyone in here with Sir John when he administered the hyoscine?
Oh, no, Roberts was in the scrub. Well, actually, to be honest with you, I couldn't be sure. I don't know.
We like people to be honest. Sir John filled the syringe where?
Oh, here. I saw him do it. He...
You what, Doctor?
Well, look, it doesn't mean anything. Not really.
Then you've no reason for not telling me what it is.
It's just that I thought he might have used 2 tablets, not 1. You see, there were 2 tubes, but one of them was empty. Anyway, if he had given him 2 tablets, that's only 2 1/100ths of a grain. Nowhere near the amount that's supposed to be in Sir Cali, is it?
Why do you say supposed?
Well, accidents happen, don't they? Even at post-mortems.
And during operations?
Well, couldn't be anything else, could it? I mean, O'Callaghan was a political prat, we know that. Look at what he was up to in Palestine. Well, no one here is going to deliberately do him in for that, are they?
I understand Sir John has left. Where was he going?
I do not know. It's not my place to ask Sir John where he's going.
No, of course not. But did he say how long he was likely to be?
No, he did not. And stretch. He may have been going home or to see a patient. I don't know.
Have you had any word from Nurse Harben explaining why she hasn't come to work today?
No. And it's very awkward. We're short-staffed as it is. Don't slack, Mr. Curtis. Without all this bother.
What about Nurse Banks? Couldn't she have stayed on? Help you out?
I saw you coming from the window. Ah, good.
They think Sir Derek O'Callaghan was murdered.
Oh, thanks. It's been odd, isn't it? Sir John suddenly going off like that.
What I really want to know is why Nurse Harben is missing.
Oh, I expect she's gone home. I've got her address there. Bourton, Hampshire.
Might pay her a visit. Now, story so far. Sir Derek O'Callaghan dies of an overdose of hyoscine. There are only 2 ways it could be administered: by syringe or by mouth. Could hardly be by mouth, as he was unconscious. Syringe? Well, there were 3 syringes used during the operation, and there were 3 puncture marks found on the body during the post-mortem. So?
Well, the dose must have been in one of the syringes. Where else could it have been?
And there was only 1 syringe large enough to contain enough hyoscine to kill.
How about 2 small doses?
No, still not large enough, apparently. If it was administered by syringe, it had to be the big one. Sort of thing you'd use on a horse, which, according to Tom's, was filled with anti-gas gangrene, whatever that is. I suppose it could have been hyoscine.
Who filled it?
Nurse Banks. It's empty. Do you want another one?
No. I was just remembering what you said about being taken by mouth. bank said there was a dirty glass in Sir Derrick's bedroom.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Chief Inspector Alleyn, isn't it?
And you're Dr. Roberts.
Do sit down.
Thank you.
I see you have been exploring my work.
Theodore Roberts, yes. Bit over my head, I'm afraid. Froelic's synergenic parallels conclusively prove Napoleon's dystrophia adiposo-genitalis. Sounds rather painful.
It's a matter of power, impulse, and source. I need hardly tell you of its connection with sex. See, there's an acute conflict between the survival of the fittest, nature's law as defined by Darwin, and the human tendency to preserve the weak. Genius and the arts, and an excessive power impulse are both, in a sense, deviants from the normal. The extremes of both being madness. Is the transmission of their genes beneficial to the human future?
Quite. I was hoping you might help me with a rather more mundane problem. The death of Sir Derrick O'Callaghan.
Yes. Yes, that's quite dreadful. I cannot deny that I'm rather selfishly nervous on my own account. But I suppose it's difficult for all concerned in the operation.
But you gave no injections, did you?
No. I'm thankful to say no.
Isn't it usual for the anaesthetist to give injections?
I have a personal, rather painful reason I never give injections.
Why not?
I gave an overdose of morphia. A patient who died as a result of my carelessness. Sometime I was unable to work at all. And then I had to. An urgent heart case. It was successful. Restored my confidence. But I have never been able to use the needle.
I'm sorry, this must be very distressing for you. But you did examine Sir Derrick before Sir John gave the injection.
Yes, of course. I'd been failing in my duty if I'd not done so. His pulse was very slow.
Really? Mr. Toms has stated that you were worried about that during the operation.
His pulse was worsening progressively. Naturally, I had to draw Sir John's attention to it.
Could that have been consistent with hyacinth poisoning?
With hindsight? Yes, I suppose it would.
And this was before the camphor and the anti-gas gangrene injections were given?
Oh, yes, of course.
But that would mean, would it not, that Sir Derrick O'Callaghan must have received an overdose before he arrived at the operating table?
It would seem so, yes. But, you know, I don't see how it could be done. 1/4 grain is a massive dose, Chief Inspector.
So I understand. As a matter of fact, the results of the post-mortem have not yet been made public. How did you come to know that the suspected dose was 1/4 grain?
Nurse Banks told me. She's here now.
She came to tell you the news?
Not especially, no. We have a shared interest in mental disorders. She's using my upstairs library. Helen! We were about to have coffee. Perhaps you'll care to join us.
You don't seriously think it was murder, do you?
Well, frankly, I don't know what to think. It could have been an accident, but...
I suppose you'd like it to be murder.
My dear Miss Bax, I can assure you, I'm only interested in justice. Thank you. If a wrong has been done, it has to be put right.
Well, I can't argue against that. I'm all for justice. I just wish there were a bit more of it in society generally.
Oh, let's get into politics. I really don't see how it could be done. Everybody sees what everybody else does in an operation. Isn't that true, Helen?
We do. Except...
Except what?
It must have been an accident. I filled the anti-gas and camphor syringes myself, so how could it have happened?
That is what the inspector is trying to find out.
I didn't like O'Callaghan or his policies, but I hate killing of any kind. If I could help you, I would, but I don't see how I can.
Well, perhaps you could just tell me why you told Inspector Fox that there was a dirty glass by Sir Derrick's bed.
That was just... There was a dirty glass there. I don't suppose it was important, but his sister wanted to give him some patent medicine, and I told her...
Hyacinth! It's a sedative, and it is often used in patent medicine. If he'd been taking that before the operation, there would have been a build-up, and the dose that Sir John gave him might well have taken him over the limit.
I told her not to give it to him.
But you think she did?
It's possible. I did leave the room for a minute or two, and the glass was empty.
That's it. She'd given him something with hyacinth in it. That wouldn't surprise me. Ruth O'Callaghan is an eccentric, I believe. And there is a streak of insanity in her family. Her father committed suicide. And one of her sisters is in a home.
Sacrilege. Sacrilege. The family will never forgive you for it.
For goodness sake, Ruth, shut up!
How can he rest in peace after being mutilated? His spirit will be in torment.
You think he was a saint, but he wasn't. He was a Casanova, always after younger women.
How dare you!
How dare you! It was only my tolerance kept our marriage and his career intact.
Derrick was a gentleman.
He was a womanizer. God knows why I loved him. He was half crazy, like the rest of your family.
Good afternoon, Chief Inspector.
Thank you. Would you be good enough to ask Lady O'Callaghan if she can spare a moment, please?
Certainly, sir. Perhaps you'd care to wait in the study.
You tricked him into marrying you. He never loved you.
Miss Ruth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Inspector Alleyn has called, my lady, and would like a word with you and Miss Ruth. I've shown him into the study.
Get Bessie to clear up. We've had a slight accident.
Very good, my lady.
Lady O'Callaghan, did Sir John Phillips suggest to you that Somerset Black carry out the operation on your husband?
Yes, he did.
Why didn't you tell me?
Is there any reason I should have?
Forgive me, but if Sir John had wanted to carry out his threat, he'd hardly have suggested another surgeon for the operation.
It was a ploy. He knew I would insist, ignorant as I was of any hatred he had toward Derrick. And another thing. Before Derrick was wheeled into the operating theatre, he revived for a moment and cried out, don't let, or something like that. But he was clearly warning me against letting Phillips operate.
I'm sorry, but how can you be so sure?
Because Phillips was standing in the doorway and Derrick was looking straight at him. The nurse who was in attendance heard him too, but said Derrick was delirious.
And you didn't think this worth mentioning before?
I had been upset and confused. It is not every day one's husband is murdered.
I appreciate that. It's just that premature accusations...
I also remember that the night prior to my husband's death, Sir John visited him here and behaved most oddly. I realise now it was about that Harbin woman.
Is there anything else you remember?
I would not wittingly hold anything back, Chief Inspector. I wish to know the truth about my husband's death.
Yes, of course. Prior to the operation, was Sir Derek taking any patent medicines?
Tell the Chief Inspector, Ruth. Tell him about Mr. Sage's magical cures.
That's the one that Blautwitz went in?
That's right, son. 105, he went into Sage's, 104 Collins.
Yes, never mind the others. He went in there. You sure?
Of course I'm sure, son. It's in the report.
Right, wait here.
Good morning, Brad.
I was just going in there.
How odd. I was just coming out.
So I see, sir.
I've got his prints on a box of full Vitavolts and a receipt in his handwriting. What did you come for? Chippy tummy?
Huh.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I can't make top or tail of it. What about you? Well, at least somebody's awake. What have you got for us, Perkins?
Oh, could be love letters, sir, but they look like reports.
Yes, thank you, Perkins. Prince match. What about the writing?
Dead match.
Well, that's it. Mr. Harold Sage was the one we missed at Blautwitz's house. That means we've got a herbal chemist involved in gun running. Wheel in some tea, Perkins.
Oh, would that be your herbal, sir?
Perkins.
Right away, sir. You shall have it, good and strong, without water.
Gets worse. Brett, is it possible that this man, Harold Sage, acting on Blautwitz's instigation, supplies Ruth O'Callaghan, Derek O'Callaghan's sister, with this full Vitavolt stuff laced with hyacinth?
But they couldn't have known about his operation, could they?
There we are, sir. You can stand your spoon up in there.
Thank you, Perkins. Ask Robinson to come in, would you? And go out without making a joke.
Oh, that would be one, sir.
Yes, I'd like you to get me a number, please. I want to speak to Sir John Phillips at St. Quintin's Nursing Home. The number is Hampstead 3903.
You wanted me, son?
Yes. First thing tomorrow morning, get round to the General Medical Council and find out all you can about this man, Dr. Theodore Roberts. Now, he had an accident a couple of years ago with a patient of his. Find out all you can.
Yes, sir.
Hang on a minute, Robertson. Yes, I'd like to speak to Sir John Phillips, please. Oh, I see. Well, could I speak to Sister Graham, then? Yeah. Thank you. Also, a man called Toms, Thoms, surgeon, also works at St. Quintin's. That's all.
Right, son.
Sister Graham, it's about Sir John. I see. No word at all? What about Nurse Harbin?
It was an accident. It must have been an accident. You surely don't think I killed him?
I'm not sure I blame you if you had. I loved him, but I could have killed him. Love is like that, isn't it? Close to hate. But all I know is his going has left a hole in my life. One has to be careful of holes. You can fall in them.
You mustn't stop thinking like that. He isn't worth it. If only you'd let me take care of you. I'd do anything for you. Anything to make you happy. I love you. Can't you understand that?
How do you know you aren't just infatuated with me? It can work both ways, you know.
Hello. What's all this? Deep in thought or a touch of the old catatonics?
Is Dr. Roberts coming?
Well, he's here already. Don't tell me you're pining for him when there are handsome young surgeons available. Oh dear. Right then, what's on the menu today? Not an appendectomy, I hope.
I don't think Sir Derek O'Callaghan's death is anything to joke about.
Maybe not. There's no point being hypocritical, is there? When you agree on one. I mean, Sir Derek O'Callaghan was not exactly loved throughout the land. I go further, in some corners, it won't be sorely missed. She goes on about warmongering politicians, but when about the worst one in the land gets knocked off, she goes all conscience-stricken.
Knocked off means murdered, doesn't it?
Don't you try and get clever with me, young lady. If he was knocked off, we all know no one had more motive for doing it than you.
No, that's not fair. You yourself have said, in my presence, that a lot of people would be better off if Sir Derek was dead.
Well, yes. I was just thinking about those poor Jews who get stuck in a boat, unable to land.
Exactly. Nurse Banks was merely thinking of the other unfortunates. I know you both mean well, but really you're arguing over nothing. Nobody here would murder a patient. And how could they? With everyone watching what everyone else is doing. It's impossible.
Nothing's impossible. It could be done.
How? Come on then, smarty pants. If you know how it could be done, tell us. Come on.
Don't be silly. I wouldn't tell you. I'd tell the police.
I understand what you're saying, Chief Inspector, but how can I? I knew what kind of a man Derek was, but I loved him. There it is.
And Sir John?
He couldn't kill anybody if he tried. He's too soft. You've got to believe that.
Do you happen to know where Sir John Phillips is?
He went back to London. He left just before you arrived.
Are you sure he's going to London?
He's not the sort of man to run away. Can I answer that? Or are you afraid I'll run away?
Don't be too harsh on us, Miss Harben. We're only doing our duty.
I'm sorry. It's all so upsetting. 1226? Hello? Hello?
She loved him. I sometimes wonder what women are made of.
They often wonder that themselves. But so I'm told. Still, in love with Sir Derek. Oh, well.
Mind, she doesn't exactly seem averse to Sir John. Well, defending him like that.
It's Scotland Yard. They want to speak to you, Chief Inspector.
Thank you.
Would you like one?
No, thank you, miss. The syringe that was used for the pre-operation injection of hyoscine, did you see Sir John fill it?
No, I did not.
Did you handle the two that were filled by Nurse Banks?
Yes, of course I did. It's part of my job to Do you think I emptied them and refilled them with hyoscine? Is that it? It's absolutely impossible for anyone to do anything they shouldn't during an op.
We've got to get back to the yard, Brer. Things are hotting up. You really think you need that?
Well, I hope I don't. But we don't know what we're up against.
Well, put it away somewhere.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you. No Parthian shot?
Silence is golden, Perkins.
I was just coming out.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. Oliver.
I've run out of sugar again.
Yes, I'll...
Oh, it's all right, dear. I'll come back later.
Yes. Could I speak to Chief Inspector Alleyn, please?
Chief Inspector Alleyn's office?
Could I speak to the Chief Inspector, please?
Who's speaking?
My name is Banks. I'm a nurse at St. Quentin's nursing home.
Well, he's not here, nurse. He's just gone out.
Please ask him to ring me. I know how something could be done. Tell him that.
Know how something could be done. Right, nurse.
Thank you. Oh, Mrs. Oliver. Mrs. Oliver?
Sage!
Right! It's done.
Yeah. Should have left 10 minutes ago.
The ship won't leave on time. Never does.
Now remember, number 3 shed. Say happy days and you'll be cleared. All right, let him go. Chief Inspector. Oh, really? This is getting beyond a joke.
Then we shall see who has the last laugh. Open it up, Bram.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Inspector, but wasn't Brer a rabbit?
No, not this one. You never heard of Brer Fox?
Guns may be embargoed. Medical supplies are not. Cotton wool. That's all. Harmless. You're delaying a mission of mercy.
Come on, we got it, we got it!
Mr. Blackfish.
Chief Inspector.
Seen you before, haven't I? Oh, those powders of yours. Just the ticket.
We're still none the wiser as to who killed Sir Derek Callahan.
All in good time, Bram. All in good time. Banks knows how...
Helen?
Helen? Helen? Oh, I didn't know you were asleep. I won't disturb you. I'll just turn the light down.
Yes, poisoned. Overdose of something. I can't say what, I'll need a post-mortem, but it looks like suicide.
Nothing's been touched, has it, Merritt?
Oh, no, sir. No, I've seen to that, like you said. I've let no one touch anything.
Could be hyoscine.
Blood?
Probably scratched a pimple.
Perhaps.
That's it. The patient can be removed now.
He's not his usual self today, is he?
I don't wish to speak out of turn, Sir John, but Mr. Tom seems to think...
That's another lucky fellow tucked away. Well done, Sir John.
You're well advised to take your profession more seriously, Mr. Toms. Surgery is not a matter of humour.
I wasn't being funny, I meant it. It was a damn difficult op, and the fellow was lucky to have you doing it.
Sister Walsh, I think you'd better come.
Oh, my God, what is it now? What the... What's all this?
Jane, what's happened?
I don't know. I was told to come in here with him and stay with you.
Stay.
No one is to leave without the Chief Inspector's permission, sir.
This is ridiculous.
Sir.
What the hell is this? Oh, for God's sake. You can't come barging in here just when you feel like it. We have important operations to get done.
All right. This is very irregular, Chief Inspector.
So is murder, Sir John. Sister Graham, please. The syringes were on this table.
I've already been through that with you. What's the point of...
If you'll be quiet, Doctor, please. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sir John, you took a syringe, you filled it with hyoscine, you took it through to the anaesthetic room, and you injected it into Sir Derek O'Callaghan.
That is correct. 1/100th of a grain.
Would you show me, please?
I picked up the syringe and... do you want me to go in?
If you would, please. Where was Nurse Harvin?
There, by the operating table, I think.
Would you mind, Nurse? She was there.
As far as I remember.
And what about you, sister?
Me? I really don't know.
You were there, at the table, looking at the syringes.
No, she wasn't. She was by the store.
You weren't in here at that time.
Yes, I was. I asked you if you'd given O'Callaghan a double dose, didn't I? And you said one tube was empty. As I told you, Chief Inspector.
Then I went off to the scrub room, you went to the anaesthetic room, and Sister was by the store.
I really don't think I was in here at all. I was in the scrub room with Dr. Roberts. Well, you were there, Doctor.
Certainly there when Tom's came in.
Yes, and I was helping you dress when he came in.
No, you couldn't have been. When I went in, Roberts was scrubbing up.
You were there where you are now, Sister. Nurse Banks came from the anaesthetic room and you told her to help dressing.
Oh, yeah, yes. I think Nurse Harbin's right. I did speak to Nurse Banks.
You were there, by the syringe table.
Yes, very well, Nurse. I was by the table. All right.
Thank you. Dr. Roberts. Mr. Toms, you were both in the scrub room.
Come on. He counts to 10, then comes to find us.
Sir John? So, Sir Derek would have been where exactly? Thank you. And you gave the injection?
Left arm, in the artery.
And this is the anaesthetic equipment?
Yes.
So you give the injection before this is used?
Yes.
So this is wheeled in next to the trolley?
I would not be here then, of course.
No, I understand. Good. Thank you. Inspector, please.
Come in here, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like the patient to be wheeled in, and you all to be in the positions you were at the time.
It'll be charades next. Inskip, birthday Banks.
Just a moment. Shouldn't you have the anaesthetic equipment with you?
Already here. The equipment in there is ours. Dr. Roberts uses his own.
So you bring this with you?
We all of us feel more comfortable with our own equipment.
Good. Carry on. So you're all in these positions when the operation on Sir Derek Alleyn commenced?
Yes.
Nurse Inskip would be Nurse Banks.
What about the lights?
I did them.
Thank you, Sister. You went straight back to the table?
Yes.
You didn't do anything else?
I adjusted the screen.
What's that?
Well, that's it. It's to conceal the patient's head while the surgeon works.
In case the patient comes to consciousness for some reason.
Well, we'd better have it then, hadn't we?
You all stayed in these positions throughout the operation?
Except for when syringes were needed.
Nurse Harbin, you collected one.
Yes.
You gave it to Sir John.
No, Sister took it from me.
She wasn't paying attention. I gave it to No, I gave it to Mr. Toms, who injected it.
No, that was the second one, serum for the dressing. Banks gave the first one, the one you asked for.
Thank you. I'd like you all to go to the scrub room, please.
Look, what the hell is this?
Mr. Toms!
Well, I'd like to know what the hell's going on ordering us about like kids in a kindergarten.
Sister. Thank you. Blake, cover the door. Where? It's got to be here somewhere. Brer, you're a genius.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Just a practical way. Grab it, Ginger!
Nurse Banks guessed, didn't she? She realized that you were the only one. Who couldn't be seen.
Is he... Did he kill O'Callaghan?
And Nurse Banks. She was full of all sorts of burning causes, as you were so keen to tell me. One of them was justice.
Why? What had Sir Derek done to you?
I did it for the good of mankind.
But there are only 3 injection marks on the body. If Roberts had used the syringe, there'd have been a 4th.
There is. In the head. Under the hairline. You see, I'd spotted a speck of blood on Nurse Banks's pillow, and so I had her head shaved. The same with Sir Derek. There they were. Tiny marks. So simple. Should have been obvious.
But his not wanting to do injections.
Oh, a perfect alibi. Well, nearly perfect. Excuse me.
I shouldn't have tried to run away. I'm not ashamed of what I did. O'Callaghan was mad, like all his family. But then, so were all politicians and scientists. Mad with conceptions and power. You see, one murder makes a villain, and he's hanged. But connive at the making of an atomic bomb to kill millions. Allow as many again to suffer torture and starvation for political ends. And then what you get? A knighthood. Society rewards its potential destroyers. I killed them to try and save it.
Was Nurse Banks a destroyer?
You know, sir, I'd say he's gone in the head himself.
I dare say that'll be a matter for expert opinion. Do you know, Brer, I sometimes think madness is an extreme kind of sanity.